sideways. I was gonna show you something else, but hold on, I gotta help this dog. At 5 months old, she was dumped at that intersection. My neighbor confirmed she'd been sitting there for 4 days. This is how it played out. You know what's so heartbreaking about that clip right there? She trots over to my car, really happy, and then stops herself. I bet you anything the person that dumped her had a car similar to mine, and she thought that's who was coming to pick her up. And then she gets a little bit closer because I start making kissy noises and I open the door. And you can see very visibly, it's hard to tell in this video, but she was skin and bones. You could see her ribs. It was very obvious she was very hungry and very thirsty, which ended up working to my benefit because it made it easier for me to get closer to her. And there she is, peeking in my car. I was actually hoping she was just gonna jump in. That would have been awesome. But because she was so hungry and scared, she ended up coming up to me because I kept shaking that bowl. She knew I had food. And then she's super young. From a distance, when I first saw her, she looked really big. She did not look this, I had no idea she was just a puppy. And I saw her the day before, which pissed me off even more at myself because I was walking down that street the day before with Kevin, and I saw her head poke out, and I thought it belonged to that. I thought she belonged to that house, and maybe they just had their dog off leash in the front yard. So I turned around and went the other way. And this day, I saw her dart across the street. When she saw me walking Billy, she tucked her tail and went running, and you could very visibly see her ribs. And I just was like, nope, I gotta find her. So I was looking for her, and then I saw my neighbor walking his dogs, and he could see me looking for her. He waves and points and says, I think she belongs to that house right there. And I didn't know which, I'm like, which one, the trailer park or on this side? And he goes, well, I don't know for sure. I just know she's been hanging out in that area for the last 4 days. And that was all I needed to hear. I ran home with Billy, jumped in the car, grabbed some food and a leash, and bolted back down there. So we did that for a few minutes, and then I flipped my camera and I put it on an Instagram Live, which is why the video looks like this. And I set the camera in my car, and this is where I needed to put a leash on her. So it was a 15-minute process, the whole live, so I just cut it down a little bit so you can see the highlighted parts. And this is where I put the leash on her and where chaos happens. I didn't just loop this over her head. I had food. If I have to do one more take, I'm gonna lose my mind. Stop eating my snacks. What you couldn't see in that clip, I didn't just loop this over her head. I had food in my hand and I lured her through. Harrison's gonna demo. So I had my leash like this. I looped through. I promise I feed him. He's just very food motivated. Good boy, Harry. As soon as she feels that pressure, she panics and tries to get out of it. And it's a slip lead, so it's not gonna, come too loose and come off of her. You'll hear her yelp throughout this, but it's not because it's painful, it's because she's scared. And then she comes back to me for food, which is huge. So watch my body. When I stand up to move, it freaks her out. She's never had a leash on her before. And if she has, it wasn't a good experience. But either way, she doesn't know what's going on. That's why you see me really close to the ground. I'm trying to eliminate that intimidation. I want to stay as close to her level so that she remains curious. She sees me as not a threat. But with my leash right here, she's pulling to the end of it. And typically what I would do is I would walk towards the dog because I want to put slack in that leash. And so I want to walk towards the dog. They're going to stop flailing and then we can start again. But with her, anytime I do that, it makes her even more scared because of that body pressure. So she poked her head through my arm right there. So I'm staying on the ground and I'm waiting for her to just kind of come to me. And this is all we're doing. And now if the situation were different and I was in a massive hurry and we had to get ourselves out of there quickly, I would just reel her in with the leash. I'd take the bite because she would probably bite and we'd get in the car and that would be that. And I'd just deal with it and I'd say, okay, you're fine, we're safe, I'm gonna work you through the leash stuff. And I would never think about it again. But I wasn't in the biggest hurry of my life and I wanted to take my time with her and I didn't want to stress her out and look at her little tongue hanging out. I wanted her to know that I was a safe place. And so that's why you see us on the ground right here. And all I'm doing is trying to get her to play with me a little bit. I move again, she panics, I get lower to the ground, and this is different. Now that's way different. So now she comes towards me, and it was hard to see. It was just the tiniest bit of leash pressure, but she didn't pull away from it that time. She leaned into it and walked, and then she just submitted. And so that's why I'm taking my time right here, loving on her, loving on her, loving on her, because I know she likes it, and I know she's okay, or I know she's okay with it. And this is where I decide, okay, I'm just gonna pick her up and put her in the car, and off we go. And even this part was effortless, right? She let me do that. She let me put her in the car. I got in the front seat, and she was ready. She was ready. I don't know why so many people drove past this little dog and just left her, but I do know that I will forever give up my sleep and do the hard labor. As long as I have you guys here to help me and support me, this is extremely costly. I have to get her spayed, vaccinated, chipped, blood work. If anything comes up, I'm responsible. If you can help with this, I will make sure she gets into a home that is going to adore her. My Venmo is going to be linked below. And if you need help training, I'm launching my leash reactivity course right now. $20. That and the Leash Foundation course are linked below. This was a terribly fucked up case that I worked on for months, and unfortunately I can't post it on social media, so it's going to be in the Patreon account that just went live. That and everything else is linked below.